Welcome back, you guys. This is Riley here with Learn With Me, and here's a video here where I talk about my yarrow plant and I go into more details about it. As you can see, this is a plant that I've had here and I've made a video about it several different times. And the thing about this video that I'm just showcasing that this plant is a plant that can survive for multiple years, as it generally comes back every spring. So stay tuned as I give you more information about it. All right, for the awesome people in my community, welcome back. And for the new people, go ahead and settle in. Like I said before, this is going to be a video about the common yarrow, Achillea millefolium. If y'all have anything to add or just want to say hey, feel free to drop it in the comments. Okay, first off, we're going to talk about the appearance and growth of this plant. Just a heads up, when it comes to pronunciation, I'm going to say yarrow or yarrow. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But when it comes to this flower, it typically blooms in like 20 to 25 little small flower heads. They're grouped like clusters, and I'll show it later on in the video for an example. When it comes to its appearance, it has like feathery fern-like leaves, and it is aromatic and disease resistant. If you look to the left, you'll notice a more updated shot of my plant, and you'll notice some awesome flower blooms. If you know someone that would get a kick out of this video, feel free to share it. Since it's an aggressive ground cover, you can easily use it to fill in garden gaps that you might have in your garden. You can also use it to stabilize different soils that you have like on slopes and things like that. It is very persistent, as I've had this plant sustain life through the cold and warm weather of the Memphis climate, so I highly suggest for anyone in this region. And now moving on to the habitat and adaptability of the plant. When it comes to the common yarrow, like, it is very versatile, as it has been found at different levels of sea level and different high altitudes. So it is very versatile, and I highly encourage you to try growing it where you live. It's quite the persistent plant, as it's resistant to deer and rabbits, resistant to droughts, and it's resistant to some forms of air pollution. And now it's time to talk about the growing conditions. That way I can kind of give you guys some advice on how to grow it in your gardens. When it comes to yarrow, it's not picky about the pH of the soil, as it prefers well-draining soil, but since I've had it for several years now, it has done quite well in the climate that I have put it in, and has not been too high maintenance for anything. That being said, the only real risk that you have when it comes to growing it is planting it in an area that's getting overwatered. So you want to be careful not to overwater it, as it does increase its chance to get disease. Now let's talk about the ecological and garden value of this plant. Butterfly fans will surely love this next fact, as species like the checker spot and American lady heavily rely on its nectar for their species survival. This being said, it typically supports a generalized pollination system, as many species have leaned on this plant for their survival, as it is a popular pollinator. Now let's move on to the uses and cultural history of this plant. And just a reminder, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Even share the video if you can. Now let's get back to it. Another interesting fact related to its scientific name is that the Latin millefolium means 1,000 leaves, related to the divided little fern-like aspect of its leaves. Another interesting fact is that it was used heavily during the Civil War for soldiers that out on the field to treat their wounds. That's another good thing about the plant. Yarrow also has a positive connotation in Chinese culture, as it is a symbol of good luck. And just want to take a moment to thank all my wonderful subscribers and viewers, as I could not do this all without you. Now getting back to the video, garden and design of this plant. When it comes to the location that yarrow is typically planted, it's very popular to use it in like a prairie style or meadow style planting, as a lot of people appeal to it for its natural look and aesthetic that it adds. When it comes to drying the plant, it can last a long time in dry displays that you might utilize it for. Now let's get into propagation and maintenance. You'll notice this is a more current shot of this plant as it has thrived throughout the spring and is now actually blooming for the moment. Memphis typically gets pretty warm, so it probably starts to bloom earlier in Memphis than it does for most climates. When it comes to the seeds, they typically germinate after 10 to 14 days. They are also considered mature plants in 120 days. Now on to some fun facts about this plant. While it's a low maintenance plant, you may need to thin it out every now and then to control it from spreading. Ethanol extracts of this plant is typically known as a prominent insect repellent, so that's pretty cool in case you guys are curious about that. I would also encourage you to plant this plant in a spot that you are okay with it spreading in. That way it makes less stress for both you and the plant in general. The best time to harvest leaves for tea is just before flowering, and you would like to harvest the newer leaves as opposed to the ones that have been around for a while. I wanted to take a moment to pronounce the family name of this plant, as it is part of the Asteraceae family, and it is one of the most prominent and diverse families in the plant kingdom. While I'm unsure of the depth in which yarrow goes into many other cultures, it has a long-standing importance in American flora, as documented by the records of Lewis and Clark. I cannot emphasize this enough that this plant has thousands of years of history. It's a notable garden charm, and it has such a great ecological value. I highly recommend that you grow it. But yeah, you guys, this is a lovely herb, and this is just something that it's just great to keep in your garden and, utilize for medicinal benefits and different things like that. Part of the reason why you're seeing me just break things in here is that I'm just kind of clearing away some old branches and stuff from the year before. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything about this plant, please let me know. This is gonna be the second time I've done a video about this plant, but yeah, just let me know if you guys have any other questions or you have anything you want me to look into specifically. Otherwise, you guys continue to stay awesome and stay breezy.